me, this is a very ambivalent situation. Joe has been an outstanding officer for almost 25 and a half years, a personal friend, and it really is a sweet sorrow seeing him retire. And I'm sure a lot of the other officers share these same sentiments as I do. I would like to introduce Joe's wife, Tina, which I'm sure probably most of you already know. It always brings up the most inopportune thing. Joe's mom, I'd like to say a special hello to. Joe's adopted dad, Jack, came all the way from Florida to send him off as well. As you know, probably most of you know, Joe is the original Lakewood boy. Born in Paul Kimball Hospital in 1961, attended all of Lakewood schools, L.G. Clark School, the middle school, and Lakewood High School. Joe Isnardi, and I'm not going to tell you what the F stands for, but if you pay attention, you may figure it out. This is Joe's picture when he first applied to be a police officer. Now, in all fairness to Joe, he's 19 years old in that picture. He put on his application that he had never been arrested. I find that hard to believe. Number one, I guess he never ran into the fashion police. And number two, whatever picnic tablecloth he stole to make that shirt that never bought it. Joe was hired in the police department in March of 1984. He's had a very illustrious career here. One of the most dedicated officers on the department. He was assigned to the Detective Bureau in 1983, promoted to Detective Sergeant in 1997, went back to patrol for a short period of time, I believe on the midnight shift, Joe? The midnight shift, and ultimately came back to the Detective Bureau as the Detective Lieutenant running the Detective Bureau for the last 7 years and doing an outstanding job. Every morning, Joe would come into my office and we would review the daily activity from the day and the night preceding, and we would discuss things. And even as just a couple days ago, Joe has such passion, such concern about the department and the town that he would say, "Look at this, do you believe this? Look at this report," or "Look at this photograph." And that passion for the job really is a credit to Joe and the work ethic that he exemplified every day on the job. And I truly will miss him. Another one of Joe's jobs was that of the press officer. Again, he did an outstanding job. He was actually the press officer before I was. It is pretty funny. He was actually the press officer before I got the job as press officer. It was under a former chief. And actually, I don't know if any of you know, Joe was fired from that job, and I got it. And through no fault of his own, he was fired because he was following the direction of the chief at that time, and the chief's direction was, nothing bad happens in Lakewood. Don't put anything bad in the paper. And the Asbury Park Press wrote a scathing editorial about Lakewood not cooperating with the press. So he was removed from the job, and I was given it. And I won't mention the chief's name, but let's just keep it local. I'm sure some of you have. Okay, without further ado, I'd like to call Sergeant Clayton. Okay, I'd like to have Sergeant Clayton do a presentation to Joe's long-suffering wife. Tina, as you probably know, was one of our dispatchers, one of our best dispatchers we've ever had. We were very sorry to lose her when she went on to greener pastures. We have several presentations that we would like to give to Joe as part of our sign of affection and recognizing the outstanding job that he has done for us. So before we do that, though, this is a very, very difficult time for Joe. He cares a lot about the department. He cares a lot about the people here, and I know he's very emotional about it, as we are towards him. So I'd like Joe to come up to the microphone now and just speak his mind, speak from the heart as he always does. So Joe, the microphone is yours.
As most of you know that work with me, I'm usually never short on words, but today it's a little difficult for me. I'd like to thank Chief Lawson for having the faith and help me in my career and give me the opportunity to run the Detective Bureau you see behind me. They're the best detectives anywhere, and I appreciate all their work. Chief, thank you. Chief Capper. Chief Capper, thank you very much for letting me be a part of the SWAT team, be a part of the scuba team, and everything else you've done for me through the years. Thank you. Chief Smith. Chief Smith is solely responsible for me being where I am today. I appreciate that, Chief. Thank you very much. 25 years ago, I walked out the front steps with Officer Tom Ottmer. My first day. I was scared to death. I'm probably a little more nervous today. During that period of time, I became part of a fraternity, more a fraternity than a family. That family's Lakewood Police Department. It's been my family for most of my adult life. I don't know much other than that. This is what I've done my whole life. Each and every one of you have touched me in special ways. I've tried to take a little bit of everyone and make it a part of me to make me a better police officer. And I hope I've done that. Detective Bureau, thank you all. I wouldn't be here without you. I get a lot of credit for things that aren't me, it's you. And I especially thank each and every one of you. Thank you. My mom, I love you, thank you. The rest of my family, I couldn't have done it without you. My friends Zach and Cindy, come all the way here from Big Pine Key, 30 miles from Key West, just to be a part of this. I appreciate that, thank you. Most importantly, I have to thank the lady standing next to me. She stood beside me for 21 years, put up with a lot of ups and downs, but we made it together, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, Tina. I love you. Thank you all for coming.
I'm remiss. We have one more poster to show. It's not this bad. I asked if it was okay with the other one. I think they said no. This is Joe's picture when he first got out of the academy and started the job. So this was Joe about 25 years ago, coming out of the academy, brand new uniform, eager to do the job, and he maintained that same eagerness to do the job every day for 25 and a half years.